been a day of birds and asses. Philip Burnell is a man. So I got a story for you. Where the fuck did it go? Oh, come on. Did I not get it? Did I not get it? Yeah, I didn't get it. Wait 10 seconds. Trust me, it's worth it. Literally, it's right downstairs. I just have to go get it. It's not down. It's like only one floor down. 1 second. Okay, well, thank fuck I took a picture of it then, because now you might think I'm lying. Where is it at? So take a... Can you see this? That is an adapter that I needed to record the voiceovers for the Wii U video. On this microphone. Now, I have had, it's a $25 adapter from Amazon, who 99% of the time gives me good customer service, admittedly. I have had like $2,000 things, like, oh, just swap it out. We'll send the other one right now. And just swap and just send us the other one, and, you know, we'll credit you back. Or if I wanted to refund it, we'll credit you back the money. And if we don't receive it, then we just charge your account again. For that $25 adapter, they want to do an investigation into it. I'm like, you know what? I'll just fucking buy another one. And investigate. It's not even about, it's a $25 adapter, but it's a time-sensitive thing. I want to record these fucking voiceovers. I mean, I have other microphones, but I'll get them done. I was like, great, it'll come today. I could even start work. I wasn't going to stream tonight, and I was going to work on those today. But for a $25 adapter, they want to do an investigation. Investigate my ass. I will just buy another one. Like, seriously? Oh my God. I can't. You can't make it up. You can't make that shit up. I'm like, okay, do your investigation. I'm just going to get another one while you're waiting. Yeah, I'll sit here. Let me wait like 2 or 3 weeks for you to tell me, yeah, there definitely was. Like, why would I try to... I mean, look, I understand they have to like kind of have a black and white line, or else people would try to take advantage of the system all the time to get free shit. But you, like, can't you also... Isn't context key? You've seen it. I've probably spent... over 5-7 years, probably like $100,000+ fucking dollars. Do you think I'm going to try to screw you over for a $25 adapter? Like, I get they have to have rules for obvious reasons, but once in a while, can you make a little exception, Amazon? I'm not trying to fuck you over for $25. But whatever. I bought another one. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. It still pisses me off because it sets me back time-wise. And I see there was a lot more super chats that came in than the two I'm seeing. Rich, your obsession with Phil is complex. Yes, because it's not a ill obsession. I would never go out to his house. I would never bother him. I would never harass his wife. I would never go into his personal life, and I hate anyone that does that. It's a comedic obsession. Like, think about it. I have like 45% of my Stream Deck XL soundboard is Philip Burnell sounds.
Stinks like shit.
I didn't mean to hit that, but it happened. So yes. So it's not a malicious obsession. It's not an obsession where it's like, I want to like rest my ass cheeks against the trunk of his car. Maybe once in a not always, but like what was he doing? He was just complaining recently in Elden Ring, like, oh, the tips weren't enough. I'm like, dude, okay, so you didn't get as many tips as you want, but you can't. And it's just how you keep doing the same thing wrong. People are telling you what you're doing wrong, but you continue to do it. I guess it fascinates me, yes. No, this is not soda. For the... Yeah, we're actually working on... I just bought 2 URLs for it. It's going to be... One's going to be called... I forgot what... But one is called Bird Merch. Wow. I own... Because we were just looking for bird merch because we thought that would be catchy. And then bird merch was taken because I'm sure that some pet store has bird merch or whatever. Hold on one second, though. Google Fish is asking something very important as the marijuana kicks in more. Rich, can I throw a rock up your ass and then fart it out like a cannonball? Can you? Yeah, so yeah, you could put the rock on my ass and I'll shoot it out like a cannonball. Yeah, of course. You'll be my cannon to defend against Putin and his... Dude, my ass would be worse than a nuke. Well, no, that actually intro guy's ass. NATO should actually bring intro guy with a stomach full of beans. But no, merch is coming. Dude, I have not checked out. The only thing I've checked out outside of here is working on shit. Today I ran errands. That's all I did. I wasn't off today. I just fucking ran errands, and I thought I was going to be doing voiceovers tonight. In theory, like, the problem is, though, Rich, you have 7,000 different other mics. You're right. That is an accurate statement. But if I go from... I've already used one kind of mic. I'll be using this shotgun mic. You'll have all these different sound profiles. And, yeah, it wouldn't be unusable, but I would rather not do that. So, just had a filling fall out. Have a great night. Oh, that sucks. But yes, merch, literally, like we just bought the URLs. We're going to hire an artist. Yeah, podcast. I'm going to be using this headset for the pod. I hope the headset is decent too, because if it is, we're going to use it for the podcast that we're doing. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on, man. Birds. So. Yeah, doesn't Russia have control of 2 nuclear power plants? And it's a fucking mess, man. Now here, we're not going to make any official announcement on it until we actually are fully, all the mechanisms are in place and it's like ready to go, like we're recording it. Because I have a bad habit and I'm gotten better, but I'm still not great of announcing shit officially before it's 100% ready. So I'm not going to do that with this one. Chapped ass lips, man. So, yeah, I have a bad habit of doing that. And this time I want to base it around who I'm working with, not... Because guests are a pain in the fucking ass. Not saying I'll have guests probably all the time. But if I don't have them for, like, say I have like 5 episodes in a row, who gives a shit? Kind of like Cumtown. Cumtown has guests, but they don't have guests all the time. You know what I mean? Like, they could hold their own. They could talk about fucking movies for 7 hours, and it's funny. You know? Buy a cockatoo, have it sit on your shoulder and shit all over the place while mimicking fart noises or teach it to say stinks like shit. Dude.
Stinks like shit.
Well, good. I'll hire you to be my full-time cockatoo sitter because they're basically like having a full-time job from what I hear. I was actually thinking about getting a bird like that for a while, all kidding aside. And then I looked into it and I'm like, yeah, no. No. I could barely shave my own ass, let alone have like they make taking care of a child seem easy. So, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I learned. I mean, that's the reason. A lot of people say, Rich, why do you have an editor? Your videos are so simple. Like, yeah, but it's not like it. That's still, for one person, a full workday. Okay, but Rich, why don't you work a full workday? I do. I'll do the videos, and then I do other stuff behind the scenes. I also run errands that I run, and then I do this 99. How many? What have I skipped? Maybe 2 handfuls worth of days of streaming in the past couple years. So yeah, it's if I want to, like this Wii U video, if I didn't have an editor, no way. There would be no way I could do it. Because to try to keep up doing live streams, doing daily videos, and try to do bigger evergreen projects, couldn't do it. Even with my editor, it's part of the reason I'm semi-retiring news, because for him to work on a big project like that, and he works on other, he doesn't just work on my channel, you know. Yeah, it's a lot of time spent. So if I just did the news and had no other aspirations, nothing else that I didn't live stream, which there was a time I did, and I did. I edited myself really until 2018. And even then, like, you know, Jay was at the time was temporary. So there was a year I think it was in 2020, I did it on my own again, but then he came back, and thank God he did. But yeah, if I did nothing else but gaming news or tech news or whatever, sure, don't need an editor. You're 150% right that I wouldn't need an editor. And I didn't for a very long time. But now with the live streams, I'm going to be wanting to do highlights from here, and I don't even know if Jay can handle that. We're going to have to see. With doing the news, even though, like I said, I'm semi-retiring it, and wanting to do the big projects, hell yeah, I need an editor. There's no way. You know, so that's why I have an editor. For people wondering the mystery of why I have an editor is because, well, no, actually, all of what I said is a lie. It's just because I have a small penis. This is a man. So I'm just I can't believe. I thought I had. I bet you did it blow somewhere maybe? I mean, I know I showed you a picture. I know you guys believe me. It just pisses me off because, like, I can't believe that. I mean, whatever. I have the picture, so I'm fine. But motherfucker, I was like, yes, I'll be able to do the voiceovers. Just put something on my head. Don't have to worry about leaning over a mic like this, and wherever I look, the mic will be in front of me. But no. And why does every mic on all these headsets suck except on the MSI DS502? Why is a 39, literally you could buy it right now for it fluctuates like between $39 and $41. I know I've talked about this before, but I can't get over it. CB90 is a new podcast, Exposed. Dude, I talked about the podcast for like 10 minutes. I swear to you, I did Mr. Super Chat. I saw it. It's going to be like where my editor and we could just do our own thing. And if I have, like, my friend Sean wants to come on, he could come on. Or if Matt's in town, or intro guy's in town, he could come on. Like, and then if we have guests, great. We may have guests for 5 months in a row. And then we may have 4 months where there's no guests. Like, I just don't want to make it reliant on the guests, because that's what I was trying to push too hard for. You know, Googlefish probably sent me a picture of an ass or a penis. I don't know who you are, so I'm not accepting your friend request. What is this? What is going on here? So what happened if it exposed? So that was what happened with it. Did you get to Google Putin with the leopard bear? I've seen all. No, I didn't get to do that yet. Oh, okay, but I have seen those pictures. Watch Archfeed's most recent video on Ukraine. Okay. Dude, and that's the thing. You know what it is that here is, and it's human nature, and I'm not even knocking people for it, but I get it. Everyone's looking for two things. They're either looking for how will it benefit them financially or career-wise, or actually there's three, or both. Do I get paid out of it, and do you have enough of a following that it could benefit me? None of the guests that I had wanted any of that. So shout out to everyone who was on here. Some did, though. You know. And I always remember one that pissed me off the most. It wasn't even money. I never even had to deal with that. I know it's a thing, but I didn't have to deal with that. There was I won't name the person, but it was someone who is in the medical field. No, it is not that like handsome doctor dude that was in some conspiracy because he was on a boat maskless during like COVID before there was even a vaccine. Not that guy. Everyone always thinks I'm talking about him. But it was like when COVID was really like out of control, and I was like, I'd love to have him on to talk about, because people are talking about it on my channel. And again, I won't name the person because it's not in a context like this, even though I generally call people out, but I don't know exactly what their intentions were, and maybe I'm misreading them, but I mean, context is key, and I could read between the lines. I invited said person to be on my show. Now, in my opinion, look, because I get invites for emails all the time, okay? And I just lost my train of thought there. And if I had to had to reply back to every single person that responds to me, that would be my job. So I get that. But what I didn't like is that they responded back. There was no hello. There was no anything. And it was just, what's your viewership? And I'm like, well, that's kind of, hi to you too. How you doing? I'm like, all right. And I was realistic. I said you would probably get like 50 to 100,000 views for, because that's generally where my podcast, minus the last couple, because I don't think people were interested in the topics. That's where my podcast episodes ended up around. Okay. Just never heard anything back. So obviously they got my initial greeting email. They replied back with this, what's your viewership? No hello, no formalities. And then when I told them that, when they didn't like the number, I never heard. I'm like, you know what, man, I got to work on other shit. Like, instead of chasing tails like this, or, nah. I don't know if that's the right analogy, but you get my point. It was so, I learned some lessons from that. I should have kept going, though. That's on me. 100%. I should have kept going. Fuck not being able to. I should have made my own episodes, talk about topics. My first exposed episode was just talking about stupid shit like what Gwyneth Paltrow on whatever, what is her Goop. I didn't have a guest on. Should have stuck with it. But I put my tail between my legs and cried and walked away, which was stupid, and I wouldn't have done that now. You know how many people told me no with this shit? You know what I mean? If I listened to all the no's and all the people turning around on me and all the people who didn't want to work with me, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. Well, I back down now, so I'm not going to back down. I've learned lessons, though. What if China decides to attack Taiwan? Do we have a strong enough leadership for Dude, I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't happen. That's all I could say. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Yeah, Terrence, I've noticed that happens to me too, where one thing is in dark mode and the other one isn't. No, I won't do a schedule. You're right. I won't. And we'll probably start off with like maybe like 2 or 3 episodes a month at most, because I'm going to still have, like, I have the Atari VCS video coming up next, and I'm going to do a really terrible pre-built gaming PC from either Amazon or Walmart. I already have them in the cart. I have that coming up next. I tried to get Keemstar on. I'm not chasing him. I already gave him an invite. He said message his management. I messaged his management. Haven't heard back. I don't chase people. You know what I mean? That is something I do not do. You will get one formal greeting from me. If you ain't interested, you ain't interested. So no, I'm not going to do a schedule. Now, if it really takes off, will I do a schedule? Yeah, absolutely. If I start getting 6 figures for an episode, yeah, I'll start doing a schedule. So persistence is 110% key, and that's the thing. The ReviewTechUSA is a proof that persistence is key. I have the following. I stop crying. It's still tough, but I have it easier than someone starting off at 0. Okay. So I need to stop crying, and I never cried, but I'm saying metaphorically, I need to stop bitching and sitting in a corner and just get it done, because that's where I end up seeing myself anyway. Like I said the first time when I did Exposed, you know. So I need to stop acting like an entitled bitch and just, you know, work, you know. Hope Vosh makes an appearance. Yeah, he definitely will. And you'll have a little talk about this. So far, Vosh has been right and based about the sad war in Ukraine. Yeah, I've been watching his streams. Oh, man. What am I checking messages for? Let's see. Nintendo Switch. What? Long awaited Nintendo's officially canceled. What is this? Why is it a Nintendo's? What is canceled? What is this? What's happening? I can't look through the whole thing now, Google Fish. I was just assuming you were sending me a picture of EDP's penis, which, yes, Google Fish has done several times. I had closed on a small home in North Carolina, 10 minutes from the beach. Oh, that's fucking awesome, man. Tiny little beach. I'm so excited to make this happen via work from home. And so is that going to be your main home, or is that like a summer home? Either way, that's amazing. That's great, man. Yes, unfortunately, due to Google Fish, I've learned many things. I've learned of gay porn stars with puffy nipples, which his name is Tit Pig. Yes, he's a real porn star. That's his name. That's from Google Fish. I've also seen numerous muscular hairy asses. I have seen Henry Cavill's thighs. Yeah, I've seen a lot. I've seen quite a bit. Thank you, Google Fish. I appreciate your contribution to the show. And the picture of EDP's penis is now permanently burned into my mind for the rest of my life. Anyway, let's have some family-friendly fun. Nuclear war. It's always a family-friendly good time, huh? Patrick, I don't know. I don't know the complexities of the politics behind that. But there are many other ways that Putin could have went about this he could have went about this diplomatically instead of actually, just going to And look, man, people always bring up like, yeah, oh, Rich George W. Bush is a war criminal. Yes, I agree. What? Yeah. What do you think? You think I'm only one-sided here? Think I'm stupid? I'm not a genius, but I'm also, I'm pretty sure I have a triple-digit IQ. I would hope anyway. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I hear you. But it doesn't mean that this should be happening to a sovereign nation. There are many other ways he could have went about this. He chose not to. He chose aggression. It's that simple. That is that simple anyway. So it is Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 4. I had to think about that for a second. So here we go.
Vladimir Putin's announcement at the weekend that he was increasing the alert level of Russia's nuclear forces is raising fears that the war that Russia has launched against Ukraine could turn into something even more dangerous, some kind of nuclear conflict. Well, I've taken a few minutes out of the TV studio here in Berlin at DW to speak to one of the world's leading experts on nuclear weapons. His name is James Acton. He's based at the Carnegie Endowment think tank in Washington, D.C.
I don't know.
And he writes and researches a lot about...
I don't know if he's suffering for any kind of illness as Putin. I keep on hearing rumors about it, but I don't want to verify it or deny it because I don't know. But he could be losing his mind. Power could be getting... Why do you think they have term limits in most countries? Not an elected official. Or president, I should say. Or a prime minister is because the power eventually goes to your head.
About nuclear weapons and how escalation can happen between nuclear powers. So I asked him, what exactly, first of all, was it that Vladimir...
There's a lot of things. No, I mean, he's a modern czar, Putin, and no one expected, we couldn't have someone like him. Why the fuck? Why couldn't we have another Stalin? Why couldn't we have another Hitler? Why couldn't we have another Mussolini? Why does everyone think that we're like, we're so modernized and beyond that? No, we're not.
Putin.
The human condition hasn't changed. Why? Because we have fucking smartphones? You know what I mean?
Has announced. Please bear with us. There's some banging in the background.
So Putin ordered the...
Please bear with us. There's some... one of the interns are humping the desk and we don't know why.
The Russian defense minister and the Russian chief of staff to increase the alert level of Russia's deterrent forces, which includes but is not limited to Russia's nuclear forces. We don't know exactly what that's going to entail in practice. We wait to see. There's been media reporting today that the US government has not seen any changes to Russia's nuclear force posture yet. We may not see any. I hope we don't see any. But I am expecting...
No, he doesn't. I cannot believe that the trolls got fucking Wings of Redemption. Allegedly, and it seems like it's confirmed. They got him on CNN. Saying that he was a reporter that died in the Ukraine, I believe. Holy shit, his trolls are dedicated. Holy fuck. Holy shit. I can't. I'm probably going to make a video about that's video worthy, semi-retired or not, from doing news. Like, that's the kind of shit that I want to talk about. All right, stop. I don't want to hit you anymore. Dude, that is next level trolling. I've never seen anything like that.
To see some changes over the next few days. Essentially the process of moving those forces closer to the point where they could be used to convey some kind of nuclear threat.
What is your most likely interpretation of the signal he's trying to achieve with this?
I can offer you various interpretations, but I actually find this quite a difficult threat to understand what Putin is trying to do. One possibility is that he's trying to say to the US, stay out of this conflict, do not intervene directly, which is a threat that he actually made explicitly when he announced his invasion to the Russian people.
Yeah, he said that.
Another possibility is that he's trying to make the US and its allies change their behavior, to back off, to lift sanctions, to stop supplying equipment and material to Ukraine. Another possibility is that this threat is targeted at Ukraine itself. He's trying to scare them into backing down or increase his leverage at the negotiating table. And given that Russia...
Now, from what I heard, isn't that Bernie thing kind of like a racist thing too? That's what I heard. I don't know.
Ukrainian negotiations now appear to be ongoing. Part of actually what concerns me here is it's not clear precisely.
Dude, it's so horrifying. It's so horrifying how many civilians are in the way of this, too. I said the same thing about Iraq, too. Believe me, I feel the same way there. That was another unnecessary war. How many hundreds of thousands of people died for that an unnecessary bloodbath? And then Bush had the audacity a couple weeks after we went in there to say the war. It was a success. What a joke that was.
Precisely what Putin hopes to achieve through this threat, what specifically he's threatening.
And how should people understand the importance of this, even in any of those interpretations? How unusual is it for a leader, especially a leader of a superpower, to make a threat like this?
It's unusual, but not entirely unprecedented. If you look back through the history of Russian and US-Soviet crises.
Well, yeah, if he's going to be aggressive, he's going to use that as a deterrent to tell countries, because he knows that'll be the one thing that keeps everyone to back the fuck off.
The last time that one of those states alerted their nuclear forces during a crisis was in October 1973, during the final stages of the Yom Kippur War. So you have to go back almost 50 years to find an occasion, to find the most recent and kind of roughly analogous occasion to this. That, I think, underscores how unusual this kind of nuclear threat actually is. And, I don't think that Putin is about to launch a nuclear attack tomorrow, but I do think that the danger of nuclear war, the likelihood of nuclear war, is rising. And we should think about this in terms of risk, which is the risk is the product of probability and consequence. And while the probability of a nuclear war is still fortunately quite small, the consequences are so large that the risk here, in my mind, is high right now.
So we have Putin in this situation, making this threat. The Western world is looking at this and thinking, well, what is the best response at this stage? What is your advice to the US administration and leaders here in Europe?
So wait, he was like, oh, the risk is low, but no, the risk is high, but the risk is low. So don't worry, but the risk is high, so everything's fine. Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Jason Dix. That was 91, I was 10. It didn't really mess me up, but
who are thinking about how their messaging should be now after this threat.
Right now, my advice is twofold. Firstly, it is to stay the course in terms of their military posture at the moment. There is no need whatsoever to increase the alert level of American or British or French nuclear forces. What I would try to do, though, is to give Putin an off-ramp. Ultimately, Ukraine has to negotiate an end to this conflict if it's to survive as a nation state, as well as it's been doing on the battlefield. The extraordinary performances of its armed forces. I think the Ukrainians know that if they want to avoid,
No, it's like drilling. Someone's like working on his house.
the leveling of their cities, as Putin did to Grozny in 1999 to 2000, they have to negotiate. So I think, we should make it clear which sanctions we're willing to lift if Russia and Ukraine can negotiate a ceasefire. I think that is worth something that's conveying to the Russians right now. I think we can re-up some of the security.
Nah, I could tell it's a drill. And they did say there would be banging and stuff like that. He should, if you hear a dying seal in the background, that's actually a drill.
Security building measures that the US and NATO put to Russia in January. So, in short, we have to try to find a way so that Putin can back out of this crisis in a way that leaves Ukraine as an independent state. That's not easy to do. We can't make him take that pathway, but we can at least open the door in the hope that he will walk through it.
And how likely do you think he is to pursue something like that? I know that you're not specifically a Russia expert, but given the fact that he has brought this nuclear threat element into this conflict, how easy is it to back down from such high stakes to accepting a solution which feels well below the rather maximalist war aims with which he went into this conflict?
Putin is faced with a bunch of unattractive options right now, right?
Where'd you get it, Florida Chicken Man?
Negotiating a ceasefire in a way that preserves Ukraine as an independent state is an unattractive option. Fighting a prolonged war against Ukraine that is a complete bloodbath and results in the deaths of tens and tens of thousands of Russian service members is really unattractive. Using nuclear weapons is really unattractive. So it's not as though Putin has good options here, some that he wants to pursue. He's faced with a bunch of lousy options, and he has to choose the least bad of those. And that's why I think it's strongly in our interests to make that negotiated ceasefire the least bad of these different options that Putin has to choose right now. Putin is a position that many leaders find themselves when they launch wars that prove a lot less successful than they hoped they would be. And at the end of the day, almost all wars end through a negotiated process in which each side has to make agonizing concessions that it hates to make. My point is that we should try to speed up that process so that, we make Putin as likely as we can do. There's a lot here that's out of our control. We want to make it as likely as possible that Putin takes this face-saving way out of this crisis as soon as possible.
Yeah, never invade a sovereign nation in the first place would be a good idea.
In a way that doesn't involve the destruction of Ukrainian cities or worse still, the use of nuclear weapons.
So that would be the kind of positive trajectory. Where the West can try to nudge Putin towards a positive or a least bad outcome. What's the alternative? Where do you see the risk of a chain of
it's definitely a drill.
That lead to a nuclear
the audio
use?
compression makes it sound like a dying cat,
There's
but it's a drill.
various pathways that you can imagine, but the one that honestly worries me the most in this situation is the pathway in which Putin's nuclear threats on this occasion fail, as I think they will. I don't think they're going to cause Ukraine to back down or the US and its allies to back down. And Putin is left fighting a bloodbath of a prolonged conventional war in which the Russian economy is in tatters, Russian soldiers are being killed left, right, and center. There is no end in sight of this conflict, in which Putin perhaps starts to worry about whether his rule at home might be threatened. I don't know whether that's likely or not, but we know that. So I don't know whether it's likely that there could be serious threat to Putin's rule emerging. But we know, for example, that Putin has talked publicly about his, quote, disgust, unquote, at Gaddafi's killing. And I think it's quite likely that Putin worries about ending up with the same fate. So in that kind of scenario, the possibility that as a last desperate roll of the dice to try to bring an end to this conflict Putin uses nuclear weapons. Like, I can't exclude that possibility, and that's the thing that worries me most.
And what kind of use of nuclear weapons?
Yeah, because if he thinks he's done for, he may just be like, fuck it. Eric Travel, you don't like my burps? I could do this for you instead.
Fell down a fucking hit hole. I fell down a fucking hit hole. I fell down a fucking hit hole.
We'd be looking at there? Is it where he might use them in Ukraine itself, or that he might use them outside Ukraine as some kind of warning to Western powers? What kind of scenarios can you imagine?
I mean, that's what people don't realize, is that if he's on his way out, like if he thinks that, one, if he's dying of something and he's just losing his fucking mind, or two, if he knows that he steps down, he's going to catch a bullet as soon as, he may just be like, yo, I'm taking the fucking whole world out with me.
Most likely.
In principle, it could be either of those. I think it's very hard to predict. What I would say is we may learn more in the next few days about Putin's thinking in this regard. Right now, the US reports it's seen, or we've had media reports, I should be more careful. We've had media reports that the US has not seen any visible, observable changes to Russia's nuclear posture. You know, it's possible that the alert order was completely a bluff. I think that's unlikely, and that Putin's bluffing theory of international politics hasn't done very well over the last few months. Another possibility is that this was, you know, Putin's order was related exclusively to Russian command and control, which is like the least bad version of this. However, we could see Russia alert its strategic nuclear forces. That's its nuclear forces that can reach the United States. It might place nuclear warheads on bombers. It might send more submarines to sea. In all of those different cases there, Putin would be clearly leveling a threat at the United States. And if it progressed to nuclear use in that scenario, one would expect Russia's long-range nuclear weapons to be used. Conversely, you know, Russia also has a large variety of non-strategic delivery systems that can't reach the United States. On a day-to-day basis, those delivery systems are not stored with nuclear warheads. If we saw Russia start to move nuclear warheads from the storage locations to the deployment location of its non-strategic weapons, then Russia would likely be trying to convey a nuclear threat to Ukraine. And in that case, if it ended up in nuclear use, then I think the target would be Ukraine. So I think we will know a bit more about possible scenarios when and if Russia's nuclear posture visibly changes in the next few days. Like, hopefully it won't, but if it does, that will give us a bit more about, tell us a bit more about Putin's thinking.
And where is the deterrent effect of the
lobster
West's nuclear
egg
forces
pie
here?
meme?
Because we're talking about
is that?
actions which would see Vladimir Putin using nuclear weapons where nobody else has used them, and facing the potential for some kind of massive retaliation, perhaps also in a nuclear sense. So why are these thoughts even possible, given the potential retaliatory consequences?
Well, I mean, firstly, Richard, I'd point out that this kind of nuclear use is not unprecedented. In fact, it's the only precedented form of nuclear use, is nuclear use to try to end a conventional war in a way to avoid a huge amount of conventional fighting. Obviously, the big difference between the end of the Second World War in the Pacific and today is Japan didn't have a nuclear-armed ally in 1945. Ukraine, the US isn't a formal ally, but it's a friend of Ukraine. And I think US nuclear forces and French and British nuclear forces will weigh heavily on Putin's psyche. He will be fully aware that the use of nuclear weapons could lead to retaliation. That's why I think he's unlikely to do it. But I think the rationale here is that he will weigh up the consequences of using them and the consequences of not using them. And if the consequences of not using them appear really terrible, the loss of some dreadful conventional war in a way that threatens, in Putin's mind, grip on power, then I think you start to get in a situation in which he may view the risks of using
Johnny Monster, what would nuking them do besides start World War III? Scott River, you only come here to be an asshole, and I've been dealing with it for months, so I'm going to stop doing that now. So congratulations, you got your 5 seconds of whatever the fuck this is, but yeah, now you're pissing me off. I've given you plenty of I'm sure you'll be back with 16 other names because you're a fucking social reject, but what was this?
Them as being lower than the risks of not using them.
And you said that...
Yeah, like, but the thing is, like, everyone loses. Like, there's no even non-rational actor, but then, you know, if there's someone who really won, maybe there's someone who believes, like, hey, I'm destined to end the world and take it with me. You never know, man. These people are fucking crazy, dude.
I mean, maybe to close here, you said that there hasn't been something, an alert of this nature since 1973. That's a long time ago. How dangerous is this moment? Is it...
Like, I was just looking at the comments, and I just see the amount of fucking effort. And you guys know that the only thing I really want to block people for is spamming or putting up personal information. But if you're just sitting here in every fucking stream and just being an asshole, yeah, you got to go.
Also, do you feel the most dangerous moment in world affairs?
I try to be a fucking sport.
I find it very hard to quantify the level of danger that we now face. I do think at the very least this is the most dangerous moment in a US-Russia crisis since not only the end of the Cold War, but at least, you know, the last 5 or so years of the Cold War.
Pop out chat.
Thanks to James Acton for taking the time today. And if you want to follow more of our coverage of the crisis, then follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, and of course on our own website, dw.com.
Yeah, and it's not even like, it's so weird. The pop-out chat is working, but the chat, something got fucked up. Yes, we could watch the Archfiend's video. Absolutely. Let me refresh this a second. Now I ain't showing your shit because I watch this probably already. Oh, you have a copyright claim. It's blocked in most countries now. Fuck off. Archfiend, we'll go to him. I don't know if Ukraine will win this, but we'll watch.
So different on so many levels, then what a difference a week makes. I gotta say, right off the bat, this whole invasion of Ukraine thing went so different on so many levels.
What am I checking out live right now?
I thought this would be a decisive war that would have ended in 3 days, that Russia being the far superior military
I'm going to burp
power,
as much as I want to.
Just mow down Ukraine with such a decisive force. And now from the looks of things, they are struggling. They're gaining ground by sheer brute strength, but the fact that they haven't decisively conquered the entire nation of Ukraine right now is stunning. And that it doesn't really look like things are going to get much easier. I mean, unless Russia really steps up the brutality and just has the less of a I don't care.
Oh, yeah, dude, those were classics back in the day. Yeah.
Factor anymore, and we're just going to just bomb everything, level entire towns, stuff like that. But man, I'm just so proud that the Ukrainians are holding this.
This is kind of dated though, man, because 5 days in a war is like 20 years. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I love the Archfiend. Don't get me wrong; he's a cool dude. I'm not knocking him, but Let's go watch some live news right now. Yeah, I don't think, no fuckers. I don't think that I don't think that Putin cares, dude. He has other aspirations here. No, we will watch India TV.
पुतिन ने कहा है कि नेटो और अमेरिका रूस को गन पॉइंट पर रखना चाहते हैं.
Oh wait,
पुतिन
this
की
is literally.
स्टेटमेंट के पीछे एक
I don't speak the language, so I can't. That wasn't. I thought that yesterday was. What about France? India today. Here we go.
Currently operates.
Thank you,
Ukraine
Purple
has made the
Fish.
huge claim that its air defense systems have shot down 2 giant Il-76 transport jets, though there has been no visual proof of this. While the iconic Russian Tu-95 hasn't been seen in the skies over Ukraine or even nearby, the high-flying propeller-driven aircraft has figured in the war of claims between both sides, with Ukraine saying its air defense forces have managed to shoot down one of these giant airplanes. As air power becomes more pronounced in Ukraine, and as NATO continues to refuse Ukraine's plea for the imposition of a no-fly zone, could airstrikes define the second week of Putin's invasion? With Rajesh Pawar in Irpin and...
Yeah, and that's the thing. I just want information. I don't want spins. Like, what was it? Laura Ingraham. Someone was watching Fox. Fox News was on here, and she was like making something about going on here with about. She starts going on this like tangent about get woke, go like, or the woke crowd and how woke Biden is. I'm like, what the fuck is? What does this have to do with get woke, go broke? I can't. All I want is information. I don't need any bullshit along with it. It's all I want.
Gaurav Sawant and Geeta Mohan in Kyiv. Bureau Report, India Today.
Amid several nations imposing economic sanctions on Russia for its brazen attack on Ukraine, the Russians have now demanded for a written U.S. guarantee, stating that sanctions on Moscow would not damage Russian cooperation with Iran and is not exactly constructive for talks between Tehran and global powers to revive a 2015 nuclear deal. Here's a report on what is happening globally on this crisis.
The crisis in Ukraine is now imperiling another fraught international.
Why does that man just not, the one without the mask? I don't know what politician that is. He does not look like he wants to shake his hand. He looks like he's like, please let go of my hand. Please, like, does he not? I'm not even trying to be funny, but this is the most awkward handshake. And I've seen like some Trump handshakes too, where he he'll like start massaging an ass cheek as he's shaking your hand. I just want to prove to you by holding your entire ass cheek in the palm of my hand that I don't have small hands. Fuck Marco Rubio.
National effort, the Iran nuclear deal. Shortly after Tehran said it agreed to a roadmap with the UN nuclear watchdog to resolve outstanding issues which could help revive the 2015 nuclear deal, a new wrinkle from Russia. Russia is demanding written U.S. guarantees that sanctions on Moscow over its invasion into Ukraine would not damage Russian cooperation with Iran. One senior Iranian official told Reuters on Saturday that Russia's move was, quote, not constructive for talks between Tehran and global powers. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said limitations due to new sanctions had become a stumbling block for the Iran nuclear deal, warning the West that Russian national interests would have to be taken into account. Two diplomats, one of them not directly involved in the talks, said China has also demanded written guarantees that its companies doing business in Iran wouldn't be affected by U.S. sanctions. On Friday, the parties involved in Vienna talks said they were close to reaching an agreement. But demands from Russia and China may complicate efforts to seal a nuclear deal at a time when an agreement looked likely. Since 2019, Tehran has breached the deal's nuclear limits and gone well beyond, rebuilding stockpiles of enriched uranium, refining it to higher fissile purity, and installing advanced centrifuges to speed up output. Iran denies that it has ever sought to acquire nuclear weapons.
Hall of Fame heavyweight boxing brothers Vladimir and Vitaly Klitschko are taking up arms in Ukraine's fight against the ongoing Russian invasion. Vitaly is also the mayor of Ukraine's capital city, Kyiv. This report will tell you more about how citizens are starting to pick up weapons.
Whitehead.
Superstars, global sporting icons, immensely famous, and with millions of doting fans.
Are they going to punch Putin? Someone said.
Worldwide. They once donned boxing gloves to bring laurels to their country and to the world.
Wait, is this old? It's from March 3rd. I thought this was live. But it's from March 3rd. They're just replaying it live. What? Let me see. Yo, if I watch this, let's see. You know, if it says it's blocked, it says it's blocked.
I don't know, 90 miles an hour that black Range Rover was.
An off-duty officer spotted Bonnie and Francis and...
Oh, I'm sorry. Are the burps too much? I love birds. I love birds. I love birds. I love birds. Why do I love birds? They lay out these turds. I love these birds. I have these two birds. They lay out big turds. I love birds. I love birds.
I'm getting Grandpa excited.
Try to relax your anus.
Called it in.
They're hauling ass, driving on the wrong side. Acting like idiots.
This has nothing to do. What happened? So they got no one's covering this shit. What about France? There is
consequences of its position. Turkey
All right.
is highly dependent on.
No, that is live war in Ukraine. Oh, it started streaming. I'm like, this is from October 18th.
Former EU ambassador to Turkey. Now, we know that Turkey has a very delicate balancing act to perform. How is it going to appease both countries, especially given the fact that it's in the midst of a severe economic crisis? It needs to maintain good relations with both Ukraine and Russia.
Well, Turkey has so far
I'm not a god.
Strict policy
I'm a large man.
Balancing. It has condemned the Russian operation. It has mentioned or repeated its support to Ukraine's independence and sovereignty, and it has avoided following Western Europe and US sanctions against Russia. So essentially a balancing act which may, under certain circumstances, become a high-wire hack because of the possibility of Russian retaliation.
If Russia does decide to retaliate against Turkey for invoking the Montreux Convention, how will this affect Turkey?
Well, Russia has really two.
I still can't believe it just sunk in my head again that the trolls made like CNN think that Wings was a fucking journalist in the Ukraine. I think that's what happened, right? That's that. Yes. Don't even, if there's another Scott River, don't even waste your fucking time banning him again. Just don't even waste your time, because he probably has 67 other fucking accounts. So why even waste your time? He's, the person has a lot of time on their hands. Don't even do it.
The other is, of course, supply of gas through the Turkish Stream pipeline, trade relations, and tourism relations, which are very important for Turkey.
And let's talk about Turkey's relationship with Ukraine. Now that it's given Kiev what it's asked for, how will the relationship between those two countries change?
Well, Ukraine is, of course, very satisfied with the sale of Turkish drones. They have proven their efficiency in other circumstances, as we know, in Syria, in Libya.
Yeah, bet everyone except Scott. Let's have a Scott Rivers only stream. Scott.
Try to relax your anus.
Let's just have a review Scott River USA. That will be my stream. We will have a review Scott River. There will be no one. If your name is Scott, not Scott River, you are going to be banned.
Cucumbers.
I don't know why I did that, but I did. That's a thing that I did, and I have birds.
Commodities like wheat and so on. But more importantly, Turkey is counting on an agreement with Ukraine on
I almost feel like playing a beat 'em up right now.
Industry. Of course, that is only a post-war operation, but that will be important for Turkey and for Ukraine. So
I feel like playing Super
a
Double
kind
Dragon.
of a mutually dependent relationship.
The sound is glitchy.
Turkey, it seems, on the face of it, has taken sides. It's chosen Ukraine over Russia. Do you think that?
Oh shit!
Turkey.
Well, at this point, there is nothing much new in Turkey's position, because Turkey, as we know, has rejected the annexation of Crimea in 2014 and has said so consistently. So the fact that they
Amazon, you could get an Evercade from. It's where I got mine.
Supporting
it's
again
actually what I got right
the independence and sovereignty of Ukraine is not a novelty for Russia. What would be a novelty would be a constant influx of armed drones to the Ukrainian forces, assuming this is physically feasible, which is another question, and that would
Mother
trigger,
Russia bleeds is good.
A retaliation from Russia. The issue of the Straits is extremely complicated because, as you've said, the
Double
convention,
Dragon 3 is
the
so
Montreal
bad.
Convention is from 1936, different world, different participants, very convoluted language, can be interpreted one way or the other.
You want me to beat the first story, boss?
Contention, but not necessarily the trigger.
But I feel like if a bunch of people came here for this and then I switch up to games, they'd be like, what the fuck?
EU ambassador to Turkey. Now, Gulf states have remained largely silent in the face of Russia's assault on Ukraine. Their neutrality, a reflection of their deepening geopolitical and economic ties with Russia. Well, joining me now is...
And I am interested in this, and I feel like I'll miss something. Bought AirPods Pro noise canceling is excellent. I just don't... They just look so garish. I don't know if I like the way they look. I'll do a poll. Yes, that's actually a good idea. I gotta think of the right wording. Let's see. No, not a stripper pillow. How much were the AirPods Pro? Just curious. Do a Scott River only poll with Dennis. That's what I thought was going to happen.
To fill that potential shortfall, but Riyadh in particular has really been resisting that pressure to pump more. It says it remains committed to the stance that's taken by OPEC+. Some analysts see that as a sign, if not of tacit support for Moscow, then at least a sign that it's going to try to stay in a fairly neutral stance, at least for now.
And what about broader trade between Russia and Middle Eastern countries?
Well, Turkey is the only major trading partner in the region for Russia. It accounts for about 5% of overall Russian exports. The rest of the Middle East and North Africa together account for another 5%, and that's mostly fuel and
It actually went down to 57. I'm kind of shocked.
Consumer goods. Now, having said that, trade between Russia and the Gulf states has nearly doubled in 5 years, from about $3 billion in 2016 to more than $5 billion last year. That's mostly with the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. There's also a growing arms trade in the region. Sales to the Middle East have accounted for about a third of overall Russian.
So you, after patience, beat the... Okay, I read it. Now I'm reading it right.
Decisive role in some of the regional conflicts, including Syria and Libya. Now, some other areas to keep an eye on throughout this conflict. Tourism could be affected throughout the Middle East region. Dubai, in particular, is a real hotspot for the Russian elite, both for vacations and for investment. And beyond the Gulf, Russia and Ukraine are both major producers of wheat, corn, and sunflower oil. And among their top importers of those products are countries like Egypt, Turkey, Lebanon, and Yemen. Now, agriculture isn't a huge part of Russia's economy, but it's clear that this conflict could have really major repercussions for economies that do rely on it for basic food supplies.
Okay, Kate Moody, France 24's business editor, thank you very much for breaking that down for us.
It's so amazing how all of this shit, when a war breaks out, like, you learn where, or whenever there's a crisis, you learn where, like, a lot of prescriptions I didn't know come from China. A lot of prescription medications come from China. It's amazing the shit that you learn. Kiss the bird, of course. Thank you for the wiener. Thank you.
Try to relax your anus.
Oh, the camera's on.
I got rid of it. Can't you see him on the fucking phone? Oh, wait, no. We're going to be in the weather now for 7 hours. Are we going to be in the weather now? Hybrid Tile, thank you for the wiener. I think I already thanked you for the wiener, but I'll thank you again. Try to relax your anus. My editor wants me to make a video. I want to know where the fuck that bag went, though. He wants me to make a video on the Amazon thing, but I can't find the fucking bag. If I can't find the bag, the video idea is kind of dead. Like, because it is pretty incredible if you think about it. Like, think about the effort. Like, they spent so much money to send me a bag of fucking air. They packed up a bag of someone, because there still is people that work there. Someone packed up a bag of air inside of another cushioned bag of air and spent gas money to have a delivery person deliver it here for me. That is a thing that happened that is real. And now I can't find the bag. I can't find the fucking bag. I'm pretty pissed. I'm gonna have to find the bag later. The bag is symbolic. Now the bag is gone. It is time to relax my anus. I won't get 1 million views guaranteed, but it's kind of, I mean, I could still make the video because I have a picture I also got sent, looks like butt cheeks with a leaf on top of it, but I know it's a peach. I know it's a peach. I'm going to have another sucker. That's what I'm going to do. You know what? I feel like... I don't know. I just feel like shooting the shit right now, actually. I'm just confused as to where that bag went to. Am I on the bag, maybe? Is the bag in my pockets? I don't even know. And I looked downstairs. I did not see the bag. This is concerning. It's not cold over there. It's 70 degrees. It was actually 70 degrees out today. 67, actually. A little bit. It's all right. I need to play more before I can make a final decision on it. What do you have, Clash for City Rocker? I'm sorry to hear you're sick. Let's see where are they still just doing.
The fishing net. The rest of the people inserted in a fishing net, so it serves as a camouflage for all the troops defending the city.
They don't want to make it easy for the Russians, even if they know their military is vastly more powerful.
In numbers, in techniques, in pilots, in the vessels, in the ships, but our spirit and the God multiplies our force.
Hundreds of petrol bombs are being made every hour in this car park in the city centre. The plan is to have them raining down on the Russian armoured convoy as soon as it tries to enter Odessa.
People are doing it just because it's our home, it's my hood. It's like just what we have to do, I think.
It's a highly strategic target for the Russians, Ukraine's main industrial port. Whether it be food or fuel, everything passes through here. And in capturing Odessa, Russia would cut off Ukraine's access to the sea.
Well, second attempt to evacuate residents from the besieged city of...
If you make soup out of Carlos, well, it'll be porcelain. It would probably kill you. It wouldn't be able to ship, but that's okay. Rich, do you think I'm handsome? Yes.
Water or electricity for several days in winter temperatures. There's a critical lack of food. An aid group, Doctors Without Borders, has warned of a possible disaster there. Yinka Oyatade has more.
From mid-morning Sunday, the besieged city of Mariupol was supposed to be safe for people to flee, but instead, fighting continued. This is now the second failed attempt to evacuate residents from the city. It follows a brief ceasefire on Saturday, which Ukrainian authorities say Russia went back on. On Sunday, officials made the same accusations.
Russians were again intentionally shelling the route which a humanitarian convoy should have taken.
Russia has denied the accusations.
No shit.
Moscow has in fact charged Ukraine with ignoring the ceasefire.
Russia blocked Netflix, or did Netflix block Russia? You think NATO providing fighter jets to Ukraine by way of Poland will escalate? I don't know, because obviously Russia knows that NATO is supplying other arms. But jets may give a real big strategic advantage to Ukraine, so maybe it would escalate. I don't know.
Control of the city would link the separatist zones of Donbass with Crimea, which was annexed by Russia 8 years ago.
California and New York.
Ukrainians fleeing violence have been heading west to Lviv. So far, the city has been spared of direct attacks, and it's become a major hub for Ukrainians fleeing their homes elsewhere in the country.
They said yes. Well, it makes sense, because giving them more air power, firepower in the air, will give them a huge strategic advantage. So Russia would see it as a major aggression.
We mothers pray to the Lord to give strength to our soldiers, our president, and all of us.
I was very afraid when they started shooting at the Zaporizhia power station. Not for me, but for my child, so I decided to leave.
A massive Russian military convoy stretching some 60 kilometers near Kyiv appears to remain.
I mean, or Washington, D.C., obviously, and then, God, the fallout would spread so far from it, Andrew.
The city of Irpin, in particular, has seen fierce fighting, as we can see in this report
So
from our
Russia
colleagues from
blocked
Holston.
Netflix.
It's the middle of the afternoon on Saturday. Battle for Irpin has well and truly begun. It's impossible.
I'm of Ukrainian heritage, and I'm appalled of how Russia keeps getting away with these war crimes, and I'm worried about my family that I'm constantly on the phone with. I'm deathly afraid that Putin will go straight to nukes. I feel absolutely terrible for your family, but I don't know why that would be his end game. Unless he's absolutely lost his mind, which, okay, I just kind of made a case if that could be the case before, so you're right, you have a point.
That's it.
But to get to the car, they'll have to go back towards the fighting.
How about I keep this on and play a video game and have two different screens? I just thought of that. What do people think of that? That would be a new thing. Watching the news while playing Double Dragon while commentating. I would be the most talented streamer on YouTube. You wouldn't hear the audio from the game. You would hear this audio. It would be conflicting. No, it would. The music for the game would be. That would be. I'm not stupid. That would be insane. I'm seeing most generally do it. Let's see how I would do it here. Turn my Evercade VS on. Got to hold it down to turn the button on. I forgot. The game capture audio would be off, but spread my cheeks and just go to town. Screen capture. Turn on the game capture. And then game capture. Come on. Why is it not showing anything? There was something there, and now it's gone. You saw it, so I didn't. Oh, it's there. And you could probably hear it, but you can no longer see it. I'm going to fix that. My ass cheeks don't fall out. All right. Please don't make me have to reboot. I guarantee you I'm going to have to. What's on my ass? What is in my ass? And now it is just blinking. No, that's not what I want. Yeah, is there anybody home? What? Try it one more time. What fell out of my pocket? Nothing. World War III. Yeah, the capture card took a shit. So I guess we're just watching news. I would have to restart the computer, and I don't want to do that. So, fuck. Okay. News it is. Sorry, guys. I would have to restart the stream because that's the only way to fix this. It happens. The weird thing is it was working before. You saw the Evercade logo come on, and then it just kind of derped. And then when I switched to the input of the Evercade, you were seeing the Evercade on the screen. So something happened with the capture card right there because it showed the Evercade logo. Then you heard the sound. Well, yeah, they don't want anything to do with them. I have a story about Activision tomorrow. Oh, yeah, because financially, DBZ King, they're getting bled dry. But I heard about Bobby Kotick, though. I know I'm all over the place right now. Anyway, let's keep going with this for now. Sorry, guys.
And President Macron
it did work.
The lies to Mr. Putin. So it just seemed to sort of irritate him even more. So I think we're at the stage where Putin, he has to pursue his goals. He can't get out of this now. He's so deeply into a situation where effectively he has already lost Ukraine. And he is now wrecking the opportunities for Russia, for the future of millions of Russians. And I think in the short term, we face a very bleak situation in which diplomacy will not play a role, but we will see those economic measures we've taken have an enormous impact on the overall situation in Russia. And one has to hope at that point,
he doesn't care about diplomacy
really hit and start to cause pain, that some of those people around Mr. Putin will start to think whether they're going to really continue to support him or not. And that, in fact, is probably going to bring about the change that we need to bring this terrible situation to a conclusion.
More now on some of those latest economic measures targeting Russia. TikTok is to suspend live streaming and the posting of new video content on the platform in Russia. The social media giant citing concern over a new media law in the country that threatens jail terms of up to 15 years for spreading what the Kremlin describes as fake news. Well, Netflix has also suspended its services in Russia, as has American Express, the payment giant following in the footsteps of Visa and MasterCard, which have made similar announcements. Yinka Oyatade has the details.
American Express is the latest card payment giant to suspend operations in Russia.
I'm very tempted to reboot the computer so I could have the news playing. I'm going to do that. And then I'll stream for a while. Can't record the voiceovers for the Wii U tonight. I already explained that whole story. This time I will come back tonight. I didn't come back last night because I was shot. But give me like 15 minutes and I will come back. And then we'll have the best of both worlds. And no, I will not inundate you with sensory overload because the sound from the game will be muted. So I'll be back. Bobby is a man. Well, I don't know about that. Death will proof, but give me like 10 minutes. I'll be back. So it's like commentary games. Everyone gets what they want. I get what I want. Everyone's happy. And it's a beat 'em up. I can pause and answer as much shit as you guys want me to. I'll be back in like 10 minutes. Birds.